Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I am brilliant. How are you?
I'm good. It's warm today.
Oh my goodness, it is so hot. I love it.
It's so great.
What have you got outside and enjoyed the sun?
I have. I just got back from a walk, actually.
Me too.
Where there are just hundreds of people sunbathing. So
yeah,
everyone's enjoying the sun.
Yeah. To be honest, it's been like that around my area for absolute time, so it's no different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to report this week?
I had my first 2-meter chill, which is what we're calling it. Me and my boyfriend went and met up with his friend at a 2-meter distance, and we took him to go and see the gooselings that I mentioned last week.
Oh, very nice. Cute.
Yeah, it was lovely. How about you? Any updates? How's the nature in your garden?
Oh, well, the tadpoles have gone. They've been eaten, and we think they've been eaten by a newt, which also lives in the pond. But in more cheerful news, today I found out that you can rent an alpaca to join your Zoom meetings.
How?
I think they put the alpaca on a screen, on a webcam, and then it calls into your Zoom room during your meeting.
Wow.
So my class is going to be exciting this week.
Oh, wow. Lucky students. Good. Well, it's so hot and beautiful today. It feels like summer.
It does, which brings us nicely to our theme for this week's podcast, which is British summer.
Yes. So, Kathy, what are your favourite things about British summertime?
I think probably my favourite thing is that finally the water at beaches, so the sea, is warm enough that you can sometimes surf without a wetsuit, and you can definitely surf in a thinner wetsuit. So you spend less time being absolutely freezing and more time actually getting to enjoy surfing.
Oh, it's excellent. I didn't know that you surfed.
I do. Not very well. I've done it for years. I've got like 7 years of very bad surf experience. So...
Oh, I'm sure you're better than you say.
But I think the worst thing about surfing in the UK is that for most of the year you have to wear a really thick wetsuit and a hood and boots and gloves.
Boots?
Yeah, the little neoprene boots. They look like little frog legs.
Yeah, I can't imagine that being the most like that doesn't evoke the idea of just like cool surfer dudes.
Not at all, especially when you're running back from the ocean to try and get back in your car before you get frostbite. Which is not a good look for anyone. No,
not the most fashion forward.
And the other thing that I love about British summer is beer gardens. So the second that the sun pokes its head out from behind the clouds, British people flock to beer gardens after work and will sit there long after the sun's gone down, enjoying our summery drinks. Like Pimm's. How would you describe Pimm's?
Pimm's. Last summer I worked in a bar, so I had to make so many Pimm's, and it's like a kind of fruity liqueur. Kind of.
Tastes a bit like grown-up apple juice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then obviously you mix it off. The best drink is if you mix a double shot of Pimm's and then I think like a small glass of Prosecco and top it off with some orange juice.
Oh, very nice. I have to try that.
No, for some lemonade. Sorry, not orange juice. That could be horrible. And then it was like the favourite cocktail at this bar that I worked at in summer.
Very nice.
And it would just come with a piece of every single fruit that we had. So depending on how well stocked we are, that would be a lemon and a lime, or it'd be like strawberries, raspberries, sometimes like grapefruit and things like this.
Very fancy.
Very fancy, yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the best things about summer is our very indoor, cold, freezing, rainy winter life suddenly has a couple of weeks of being kind of a little bit Mediterranean, and then we go back into our living rooms for winter.
Yeah, mild to warm usually is the
Yeah, anyone from a hot country would not call summer in England summer.
No, it's always so funny, like when as soon as the sun pops out, like shirts are off, shorts are on, all the pasty legs are out and about.
Yeah, it really shows our aesthetic as a nation, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it really does.
So anyway, what about you? What are your favourite bits about summer?
No, I was just going to ask first, what's your favourite pint to have during summer?
My favourite pint? Oh, it's got to be Rattler. Have you had Rattler?
I've never had Rattler. Is it good?
So it's from Cornwall. So it's normally when I lived down there that we'd have it. And I normally really hate cider. I normally can't drink cider. But Rattler's like, it's like just like a really strong cloudy apple cider. It's like, it's really strong. It's 7% or something ridiculous.
Oh God.
But it tastes amazing. What about you? What's your favourite summer pint?
My favourite summer pint. To be honest, I usually just go for the cheapest one, so that shows how classy I am. Mm-hmm. But I really like a light lager. Oh, I really like, it's not really a pint because you never really have it on tap, but Leffe, the Belgian lager.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've had it.
Yeah, it's really nice. I just like any like blonde, light lager, preferably the cheapest. That'll be where I'm at.
Or just any rosé. Rosé is such a summer drink.
I'm not a rosé gal.
Do you know what? It doesn't taste very nice, but it just epitomises summer in my mind. So
yeah, rosé or Pimm's.
So Flora, what's your favourite thing about the summer?
I think one of my favourite things about summer is hanging out with my friends at the beach. So my hometown is Brighton, and we're by the sea. And we have a very pebbly beach, which isn't the most comfortable, but I really love it as it has loads of like really nice memories growing up of us finishing school and then just heading straight down to the sea and maybe paddling it, or if it's warm enough, getting in. And yeah, just so many fond summer memories relaxing on the beach with my friends. I feel really lucky to have grown up by the sea.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think the other favourite thing about British summer is how many good like UK festivals and events there are every year. So I don't know, have you been to any like music festivals recently, Kathy?
Not in the UK. I've been to a few abroad, but only very tiny, niche, slightly weird ones. So yeah, most famous one in the world, isn't it? Glastonbury.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
Tell us about it.
I think UK festivals are a bit unique compared to festivals abroad. Not that I've ever been to one, to be fair, but I love Glastonbury. It's just one of my favourite events ever. I went for 4 years in a row, and I have some friends that have gone for like 7 years in a row. So it's a big thing for my friendship group at home. And yeah, it's like the same size as my hometown, the whole festival. So it's massive. And I think my favourite thing about it is that there's no arena. So there are stages like set up all over the shop, like all over the site, and you could just leisurely stroll from one to the other, and it feels like a big like musical town in a way.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, it is really nice, and it's got a really like relaxed vibe compared to other festivals. Like I think it's a really nice mix of people that go there, because you get the people that have been going to Glastonbury since it was like first set up in like 1960, 1970s, I'm not sure, but you got the real like hardcore Glastonbury oldies, and then you get like the families, and there's like the whole family section, which is really, really sweet, and then you have like the youths, which I guess was me, but yeah, it was just super fun. And also another event that I love every year is Brighton Gay Pride. It is the best event, and I absolutely adore it. For one day, the whole city just explodes, and it's just so vibrant and fun and a really lovely atmosphere. I don't know if have you ever come to Brighton Gay Pride?
I've never been in the country, I don't think.
Oh my God.
And
you
before then, I think
I
was too young. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun. I've been going since I was like probably about 12. Obviously at first with like my family and then with my friends. And my favourite bit, hands down, is the parade at the beginning. It's so sick. I love it. And this year, last year in 2019, actually, we got into a party of like a friend of a friend who lived on the same road as the parade route. So we were standing on like a little ledge, like a little roof thing, and was like dancing along with the parade, and it was just so fun. It was such a good time. I'm gonna miss it this year.
Oh yeah, everything's cancelled.
Yeah, oh God, it's awful. Okay, Kathy. So when people usually think of British summertime, they don't usually think about all the lovely stuff that we've just mentioned. Usually they're thinking maybe about camping in the rain.
Yeah, done a lot of camping in the rain, done a lot of cycling in the rain. We have a tendency to plan things, I think.
Could you tell us your most tragic British summertime story?
I can. So I think I was about 5, and my family's summer holidays used to be cycling around England somewhere, depended on the year. And there was one year it just rained for the whole thing, and I was, I think, about 5, and I just remember being absolutely soaked, and my mum taking me into a telephone box and getting me to change into clean, dry clothes and tipping out all of the rainwater from my raincoat hood and it just splashing everywhere. And it was a bit of a disaster. But yeah, lots of rainy summer memories. What about you?
Oh, yeah, of course. I think my most tragic British summer memory was family holiday to the New Forest. It was obviously lovely for most of it, but I remember it rained a lot. And also there was an incident where my dad lost me in the woods. I mean, it's now a very funny story, but I was 8 years old. I think I might have been 10 years old actually. And we were cycling along and I was somehow quicker than my dad at cycling, even though I was a child. So I cycled ahead of him and he had thought that I'd gone off in like some other pathway, but I hadn't. And so I just kept cycling and it was maybe like an hour and I finally caught up to my mum and my sister. And then it was ages until we saw my dad again. And it turned out he had gone on some mad route just around the whole of the New Forest.
Wow.
I know. So he did a lot of cycling that day. Yeah. But I'd say that was probably one of hazard summer memories.
It's very English, isn't it? They're both cycling, they're both camping, they're both raining.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the best advertisement for British summer.
Not at all. So Kathy, what are your highlights of the week?
So I've got 2 this week, both from Netflix. The first one is a sort of documentary style program called 100 Humans. Have you come across it?
No idea. What is it?
So they've basically taken 100 humans in the US from all different ages, stages and backgrounds and run tons of experiments on them. So one I can think of is they were looking at whether people are more attracted to people who wear uniform against people who don't wear uniform. And about whether people come across more interesting if they're attractive, up against if they are less interesting if they are unattractive when they're giving a presentation.
Interesting. What was the result?
So the results of the first one is that people are more attracted to people in uniform.
What is that about?
I don't know. But I kind of see where they're coming from. I do.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know. And the second one, if a speaker is more attractive, then even if they're talking about a boring subject, people find it more compelling, apparently.
Well, I'm not actually shocked by that.
No.
We're shallow creatures sometimes.
We are. And the second one is, I think, one of the best programs that's ever come out on Netflix. It's called Money Heist. And it's translated from the Spanish Casa del Papel, and it's the story of a group of young people who break into the mint in Madrid and basically print their own money. And it's about how the police respond to it and how the public respond to it, and then eventually how they're kind of plotting their escape and whether they actually manage to escape.
Sounds very intriguing.
But it's fantastic, and you can watch it in Spanish with English subs, which is what I did, or you can watch it in dubbed English with Korean subtitles as well.
Cool. Nice.
What about you? What are your highlights this week, Flora?
Well, my first highlight of the week is a podcast I listen to all the time, and it's called The High Low. I think you can find it on Spotify and maybe wherever you usually find podcasts. But it is a podcast from Dolly Alderton and Pandora Sykes, who are 2 British journalists who are also just good friends. And basically the concept of the podcast is they talk about highbrow news and current affairs and lowbrow news and current affairs. So it's like a nice combination of kind of keeping up to date with things, but it also being really silly.
Yeah.
And the episodes that they've produced during the lockdown and during coronavirus have been really good because they've said from the outset that they're like making an effort to keep it silly, because you don't need to like hear all like the scary news, because you can just watch the news if you want that, which I don't. So there's just them keeping up to date with like the silly things people have been doing on Zoom, like having alpacas, and the silly celebrity gossip that's still somehow happening even during lockdown. And they also offer recommendations, similarly to us. They also offer recommendations which I really enjoy listening to.
Yeah, and it's good for listening while you're doing other stuff. So I like to listen to it while I'm mowing the lawn or going for a walk or just got some spare time. It's not that hard to follow. It's very gentle, very easy listening.
Such easy listening, and I really enjoy. I listen to it whilst I clean the bathroom.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my Saturday. And my second highlight of the week is a film called Call Me By Your Name, which is available on Netflix. And I thought it was in keeping with this week's summer theme, as it is a story about two guys who meet on holiday in Italy over the summer and fall in love. And it's just so beautifully shot. Like the clothing and the cinematography in this film, because it's set in the 80s and they're in Italy, is just beautiful. I absolutely love it. And it's a really tender story and also, I guess, like quite a unique story, as we don't always get LGBT representation in the media. So yeah, I think it's just brilliantly acted, beautifully filmed, and a really just good story. It's also a book as well.
Nice. So, Flora, what have you got vocab-wise for us this week? What summer vocab can you introduce us to?
Okay, so my summer vocab is something that I can never get, and that is a healthy glow.
And what's a healthy glow?
A healthy glow is like a nice tan. So if you've been out in the sun, if you've been sunbathing and you get a nice healthy glow, it means you've been sun-kissed, which is another phrase for the same thing.
Nice. That's my plan for this weekend, try and get a healthy glow.
I can't. It's impossible. For everyone listening at home, I'm so pale. So pale. What about you, Kathy? What's your summer vocab?
My summer vocab is to go for a dip.
What does that mean?
So to go for a dip means to go for a swim. So if you're at the beach, you might be laying in your sun lounger and you might say to the people with you, oh, I'm just going to go for a dip. And you're just going to go in the sea for a little paddle or a swim, which isn't particularly used in the UK for much of the year. But we use it a lot when we go on holiday, particularly down to Spain or Portugal to catch some sun.
Oh, yeah, the Costa del Sol.
Mm-hmm.
Good, excellent. Okay, that's it for this week's podcast. Thank you guys for listening.
As usual, please comment, let us know what you thought, let us know if you have any questions, and we'll reply in the next podcast.
Okay, take care, bye.
Have a good week, bye.